I've been car shopping, but not for a real car. As many of you know, Speed Champions is my favorite line that LEGO puts out, and they make some seriously cool cars, but not always the cars I want. So I thought I'd pick up some alternative sets and see how they compare to the rating champion, LEGO. I've grabbed a range of sets at various different price points, so in this series I'm going to compare how some of the cheaper sets compare against the more expensive LEGO sets. Today I thought I'd start with the two orange cars. We've got the McLaren F1 and Famous Car. I picked up the McLaren box purely for the F1. What a legendary car, and of course it's in orange. And then of course I got this bag of bricks, Famous Car. It's clearly a Porsche 911, or so I hope. But let's get the show on the road and these cars built. Boom. And here we are, both built. Does anything jump out at you different between the two? Drop a comment with your first thoughts. Of course, we'll go through our three criteria for both of these: price, play or display ability, and build experience. And then I'll tell you about any final thoughts I have, any features that one might have that doesn't have, little spoiler, one does have some features I quite like, and any final thoughts I might have. All right, let's talk about price. Famous Car, Porsche 911, was about 20 bucks off Temu, which puts it at roughly the price of old Speed Champions before the price hike. And the McLaren 2-pack is $70 on lego.com, which puts that at about $35 per car. I gotta say, I do miss paying about 20 bucks for the old Speed Champions, but the new models and the amount of detail they get in these, I figure the price hike was justified. All right, let's get into build experience first. As you can imagine with LEGO, the build experience was lovely. We've got a nice booklet with each step clear as day laid out in front of you, making the whole process easy as anything. Compared to Famous Car, where we had a single A3 sheet of paper, double-sided of course, with each step a little bit too small for comfort, and I often got lost on the page. The instructions weren't as clear, and I often found myself going back a few steps, undoing my progress just to redo it properly. Saying that, there were some tricky steps in the McLaren to overcome the complicated shape and very detailed angles when compared to the Porsche. Speed Champions always has these really cool techniques to get all the angles and to get everything looking as aesthetically pleasing as humanly possible, even if it does sometimes mean you've got bits that flap about. On the other hand, the Porsche 911 was a very straightforward build once you were able to decipher the instructions, with none of the wacky techniques you'd commonly find in Speed Champions. So it does make for an overall sturdier car. I'd be afraid to swish the McLaren about because I reckon the front's gonna fall off. Another thing super common with old bricks is they're quite often very hard to push together. They don't have that precision engineering that LEGO is renowned for. So I found myself with very sore fingers after putting this model together. Thankfully with this one, all the bricks have stayed together. Everything does clutch on, and I don't think anything is going to pop off. I have had a few experiences with old bricks where they just simply don't clutch, and I've had to use super glue. Both sets do come with stickers, and I found the experience roughly the same. The stickers on the Porsche were much bigger, often taking up the entire brick surface, which gives you much less room for error, whereas LEGO is a lot more forgiving. And there were no printed parts in the Porsche, whereas there were several printed parts in the McLaren. One of these days, I wish they'd release a Speed Champions with all printed parts. I hate stickers. Playability or displayability? Here's the thing, the McLaren F1 is a beautiful car, and the LEGO kit reproduces those lines faithfully. But as is the case with a lot of the Speed Champions line, reproducing those curves and those lines means that it's not structurally sound. There's a few connection points in here that I'm worried if I handle it too roughly, that's just gonna fall apart. The block holding the front wheels on threatens to pop off all the time, and the Technic pin assembly to create the angles just above the door being loose really annoys me. On the other hand, the Porsche 911 feels very solid. As I was putting it together, nothing felt like it was going to fall apart. Not even going to try swishing the F1 because I think the front's going to fall off, but this one is not going to have any trouble. So if you're going to keep one for display and give one to the kids, absolutely display the McLaren, give the Porsche to the kids. Okay, some cool features the Alt has that LEGO don't. The Porsche has a bonnet that we can open up. There's not too much space in there, so I don't think we're going to be storing anything in there, but it's kind of cool to see. And both of the doors open too. You're not going to be able to stick a minifig in there because the windshield gets in the way, but it does look pretty cool. Something I thought was going to be a play feature, but we covered it up, is hiding deep in the back is a brick-built engine. Unfortunately, we shoved bricks all over the top of it, so we can't see it. In comparison, the McLaren F1 doesn't have anything that opens, doesn't have anything that shuts, doesn't have any play features like that. However, let's talk about the minifigs. The McLaren F1 comes with the driver in this awesome printed McLaren hoodie. We've got the McLaren logo on the front, and we've got the hood printed on the back. Single printed face, but he's going to be wearing a helmet all the time, so it doesn't really matter. And check this out, he sits perfectly in the middle seat in this faithfully recreated McLaren F1 cockpit. And even better, something that we come to expect from LEGO, is the roof goes on with his helmet on. Now, Famous Car, this one comes with a knockoff minifig with what looks to be a racing suit printed on. I can't quite make out any of the details. It does have leg printing, that's okay. The molding is nowhere near as good as LEGO, and quite frankly, I couldn't get the hands all the way in. It was painful and a very tight fit. He does come with a helmet, but nothing else. I do really like the interior of the Porsche. They've used actual seat pieces, which is kind of cool, but once you stick our driver in, you can't put the roof on, no matter what. It doesn't fit helmet off, it doesn't fit helmet on. You just can't put the roof on if there's a driver. Of course, if you pull the seat out, it fits in fine, which kind of makes these seats very pointless. Let's do a quick roll test to see who rolls better. Who do you think is going to win? Drop that in the comments and let's see if you were right. Of course, the Lego wins. The pins in the alt bricks, very stiff. It barely rolls, but Lego rolls beautifully. Displayability. Obviously, the Lego looks much more polished. There's just something about the alternative bricks. They can never get two bricks looking the same color. So the Porsche looks kind of like a patchwork of different colors all over. Even the stickers are nowhere near the actual orange of the brick. Saying that, I do think the Porsche would look cool in a display, but maybe towards the back. Or at least until Lego makes one of this scale. Okay, final thoughts. Lego wins this round by a wide margin. I know it's significantly more expensive, but the build experience on Lego was much better. The overall fit and finish of the McLaren, much better. And the fact that you can actually put a minifig inside, come on. But then again, if you want something for the kids to throw around and beat up, then maybe the alt build is for you. I'm very tempted to source all of the parts from the Porsche in actual Lego because the overall shape and the overall build is pretty good. It's just the bricks that really let it down. So overall, if I had to give these a score, I'd give the McLaren F1 a 9. There's just a few little bits I don't really like that knocked a point off from being a perfect 10. And then I reckon I give the Porsche a 5. The overall shape and design is really good, they're just being brought down by those awful bricks and the fact that you can't fit a minifig in the cockpit. Alright guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed my comparison. Tune in next week when I build another car from another brand and compare it to the Lego McLaren F1. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you want to see me build anything else. We're going to do another Q&A about Lego Masters, so if you have any other questions, drop a comment down below. Check us out on Instagram, and we'll see you next time. Who would win? Who would... Oh, they both survived.